WCTV Pinpoint Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
All right, rain is on the order. We can see that impressive looking line off to our west holding together real well. The beginnings of that still probably about 30 miles or so from Tallahassee, maybe 40 or 45 miles from Thomasville. And just extrapolating where it was an hour ago, looks like that line has moved about 25 miles. So that means we're probably about an hour away from the beginnings near Tallahassee, give or take a few minutes, and maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours away in Thomasville, and a little bit longer the farther east you go. So if that helps you estimate your time to get up and get going for work this morning, yeah, that's probably good news, but by 7:30, I think we're going to be starting to see some serious rains in the Tallahassee area, and by 8 o'clock, 8:30, we'll have it in Thomasville, if not sooner, if it speeds up a little bit. So that's what we're looking at for now. Far eastern areas have the longest before the rains get there. Far western areas already starting to get wet, and that's going to continue as this line holds together and brings with it, I think, a pretty good period of rain that could last several hours until we get to the other side of this. That's when we'll start to see that change in wind direction, which will bring in the much cooler air. Now, the winds are still out of the south, and enough where you notice it. Temperatures from 67 in Valdosta to 70 in Tallahassee. Yesterday made it to 75. Did pick up a dime's worth of rain in the rain bucket, our first real rain of 2019, but certainly not our last. Now, as far as the temperatures around the region go, most are pretty close to 70 degrees, a couple of degrees other side. I think we're going to find our warmest temperatures early today. Once the rains pass by and those winds change direction, temperatures, they're going to cool off. The wind's already starting to turn west as that line of showers doing its thing from Mariana back to Panama City, but out ahead of that, all areas with those south winds scooping in all this warm, humid, and unstable air. I still think the computers are just a little bit behind. You're going to tell me it's 3 hours before the line gets to Tallahassee? Not the way it's been moving this morning. So I think it's a little bit slow on the computers, but still, it's going to settle in for a while for that rain to move across the area. So once it starts, it's going to linger for a while. So you're probably better off getting out and getting going early this morning to beat that rain. Once we get to the afternoon, I think shortly after lunchtime, a lot of our western areas will be long gone with the rain. Most of our middle areas will be done, and then it'll just be our eastern sections that are still dealing with some of those showers. Once we get to the evening, now we start looking for some clearing. Yeah, there'll be some clouds that linger for a while, but today will be about one of those days where we get the rains early, the winds perk up and change direction, and that brings in the cooler air by tonight. On the Gulf today, if you own or operate the small craft, exercise caution. The winds turning from south to west, 12 to 24 knots, and the seas maybe as high as 5 or 6 feet. Low tides, they'll get started at 7:41 this morning, finish up after 9. 60s and 70s, I'm putting the rain chances at 100%. It's going to rain this morning, just about everywhere. 60s and 70s this afternoon. We probably see our warmest temperatures before lunchtime. And then once the cooling starts, it's going to feel more January-like this weekend. How about mid-40s, maybe some low 40s tomorrow morning. We should keep it out of the 30s, a little too breezy, but there'll be a little bit of a wind chill, I suspect, tomorrow morning. Very January-like on Saturday, a little breezy, but more sunshine. Highs only in the mid-60s. We've had mid-60s for morning temperatures all week. Going to have that for daytime highs this weekend. And I do think Sunday morning we could and should see some temperatures in the 30s.